Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. Today's video is one of those videos not real fond of. Not my favorite. Nothing good, man. Defending yourself, protecting yourself from the booty bandits, the predators, the cheek busters, the sick dudes that you're going to run across while locked up. Today we'll get into some of these guys. Some events I've seen take place when guys are like, nah, you ain't about to do that. Key tell signs that that's who you're dealing with. Little things these guys will do to try to bait you in. And the things you can do to make sure that you don't end up in a relationship that you don't want no parts of. Booty bandits are a real thing. If you've been to prison and you can say you didn't see no type of assaults or anything like that take place, I don't know where you did your time at. If you didn't have to see it, but if you didn't hear of it, have somebody tell you or witness it firsthand, you had to have been on like a work camp, level 1 or 2 or something, your entire bid, or a cadre, somebody that worked close with the guards and lived in an honor dorm. It's pretty much the only ways I can really see that you wouldn't ever have to deal with that stuff. But for a lot of you guys watching, everybody's not gonna make it. A lot of guys have already dealt with this, seen it. Some of you may even be victims of it. For a lot of y'all watching, unfortunately enough, some people are still gonna go to prison no matter how many prison channels there is, how much light we shed on this, guys just are not gonna listen. So today's video is surviving prison, man. Booty bandits. What to do, what not to do, how to react. Things I've seen other guys do. Rough video, but it's got to be done. You know how to see it, you know how to live it, so let's relive it. Penitentiaries, prisons, jails. It's where all the bad guys go. You make a bad decision in life, it's where you're going to end up. You turn on your news every single day, and a lot of people don't like to watch news. I included do not like to watch the news just because it seems like I turn on the news and it's somebody else is dead. A kid is hurt, a woman is hurt, men are hurt. It's just all bad when it comes to the news. It's informative, but at the same time, it just shows you, just what the world is, as if we didn't know already. Those men that you see that commit these crimes, whether it be shooting something up, shooting at a crowd of people, an assault, a violation, anything of that nature, these guys go on to first start off in the jails, and then from the jails, they go to the prisons and penitentiaries across America. You find yourself in a jam and any type of trouble, you're not going to go hang out with good people all day. You may meet some good people along the way, but for the most part, you are now housed with the worst that society has to offer. You are housed with the guys that could not make it in society, could not last on the streets, chose the criminal lifestyle, and for some of these guys, you're housed with men that have done heinous and unspeakable things. Now, I do know that in some states, paperwork is a mandatory thing. Knowing who that man is a mandatory thing. No one person can take credit for that. No one can say, well, in my state, you didn't cause that to happen. Because I can promise you that whatever state you fall into, you're going to fall into their politics. Out here, paperwork is not a mandatory thing. Now, if you've got somebody around you, you're going to want to know, hey, why you locked up, man? We've been kicking it. I talk to you every day. I need to know why you're locked up, why you're in prison, what it is you're into, so that I'm not judged based off of what you got going on. These men fly below the radars. Some of them have been in prison a very long time, and their crimes have been forgotten about. No one speaks about them anymore. There's no more stuff going on in the news, and they kind of just blend into the background of prison. A lot of these guys are monsters. When I say monsters are real, Monsters are real, and I've seen them firsthand. These guys prey on others. They prey on insecurities, weakness, size, non-violent men, non-combatant men. And if you're any of that, there's a very good chance that you're going to run across one of these guys. Let me tell you about these guys. If I had to sum up a booty bandit, a cheek buster, a predator, these are men that sit back and they watch. Like a lion ready to pounce on its prey, looking for the weak link in the chain. They watch men. They watch how they move. They look to see, who does he have around him? If I go at him, am I going to fight gang members? If I go at him, am I going to get resistance from the guys around him? Usually they don't go at those type of guys. They go at the ones that are loners, that have no friends, that look scared, that are timid, slouched, smaller in size. Those are the guys that usually become prey. The guys that don't have anything. These guys will look, oh man, he ain't got nothing to eat. Yeah, that's my ace in the hole right there. Oh look, he ain't got nobody to talk to. Let me get on over there and make friends with him. To this very day, I question why somebody starts a conversation with me. Been that way since I was young, since the detention centers. Because I learned early on that people usually have motives in conversation. And I know that's not so much in society, but that plays a big part of incarceration. Guy walks up and says, what's up? Don't be surprised in 10, 5, 15 minutes from now if he doesn't come over and ask you for a soup. And if he's not every single day asking you something from there on until you just become an ass and tell him, bro, I'm not your dad. I'm not here to raise you. I'm not giving you nothing else. Keep it moving, right? These guys prey on that. These guys are usually bigger in size, don't have a whole lot of friends, but everybody knows who they are. But guys generally aren't going to befriend somebody like that because, I mean, who really agrees with somebody doing something like that? Not only that, it's usually not a secret what these guys done, because it's usually when you see it or you see somebody else go through it, it's usually they're not the first victim. So you hear about these guys. People are going to tell you, hey, dude right there, he's a weirdo, man. Yeah, you don't want to be in a cell with him. When y'all lock down tonight, you're going to end up undressed and probably not by choice. Probably because he's going to have a knife on you, because he's going to be able to knock you out. So the warnings are there. You know who they are. It ain't like, oh my God, I had no clue this guy was doing this. Nah, dudes are going to tell you 100% when they see him come and talk to you, or they see you congregating or talking to him or dealing with him in any way, hey, you need to be careful. I had someone come to me and tell me about the guy that lived in the cell. Today I got another story on Jingling. When I first got to Greensville, I had transferred with all my property and stuff so you could hide stuff in your property. Somebody approached me and said, hey, the dude that lives in the cell next to you, Jingling, likes white dudes. Well, he said he likes white boys. That's what he said. Man, you got a thing for white boys. Yeah, man. Be turning them out in one way or another. He gets them. So when Jingling initially introduced himself to me, I was already on edge. I'd already had some other things transpire, like in the physical aspect of fighting. It was a bad moment in my bed, right? Still healing from my stuff was all lumped up from where I got jumped. But Jingling, he lives in the cell next to me with his brother Will. He comes to my door, introduces himself. At which point I stand up for myself and let him know, don't come near my door. Don't come over here trying to talk to me. I was ready to get violent because I felt like this man was trying the waters with me. And I know from doing what time in the past, you stop it right there. There ain't no smiles, ain't no games, ain't no funny ha-ha. We ain't about to kick it. Don't offer me nothing. I ain't asking you for nothing. I know what you're about. I'll hurt you. Leave me alone. Stay away from me. Don't come to my door no more. If you step foot inside this cell, I feel like you're going to do everything them guys told me that you've done to others, or you're going to attempt it. So it is my obligation to straighten that right there from the gate. Over the years, I would watch Jingling and see Jingling violate many men. I would see him entice people with food. He would entice people with special things that a lot of guys couldn't get. Exclusive CDs, electronics, clothing, shoes, cigarettes, drugs. He had a lot of different ways he would trick these guys. And on a bunch of different occasions, he didn't trick nobody. He just put that elbow on the side of their head when they weren't looking, or caught them in the side of the face when they weren't looking, and then just went in there and completely violate the person. We had a situation one time where I was in my cell and everybody was going to chow. And this day in particular, there was a lot of different meals that just are not even worth going over there for. Beans ain't worth going over there for. Meat rock, for all my meat rock guys that know what meat rock is. We call it wolf foot, meat rock. There's all different names for it. It legitimately looks like a wolf foot, but really dry with no hair. I'm not going over there to eat that. Certain meals are just, look, I'd rather eat a soup, not worth going over there. Everybody's up towards the front, and there's guys in the showers that aren't going to eat, and I hear a whole bunch of arguing. I'm sitting on my bunk. At the time we could still smoke, so I'm sitting on my bunk. I want to say I was smoking a cigarette, and I was watching the television, and I hear a whole bunch of commotion out in the pod, and I go out, and there's this tall white dude standing at the shower, and he's inside the shower completely naked. And there's guys standing out in front of the shower waiting to go out the door to go to the chow hall. And Jingling is standing there. And at the time, Jingling had a leg surgery not long before this. So his leg was in this big-ass cast, and he had these crutches. And dude is inside the shower still lathered up, and it's got these stall doors, like half stalls. So you can see, like, if you were to walk by, you can see a man's knees and down, and then from about his chest area and up. But this middle section is blocked by, like, one of them old-style swinging doors, a stall door. Dude is screaming over the stall door and pointing at Jingling, and Jingling's done kind of moved over into the crowd of guys because now the guard is paying attention. And he's telling him, if you ever look in the shower again while I'm in here, you ever come near this shower again, I swear I'll take you up off this earth. Try me if you want to. I will do this, I will do that. He is making every threat known to man. The guard is in the control booth banging on the glass. What's going on? What's the problem? He's not even paying no attention to the guard. He's pointing his finger at Jingling and telling Jingling, pretty much, I'll take you up off this earth. You ever try me again. So I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on, right? I get to talk to some other guys that were sitting on the pod. I said, what happened? Like, old boy was in the shower, showering, and Jingling walked up on the shower and walked up to the door, looked over the shower to where this dude was standing, completely naked with soap on him, and checked him out. And then started making his little and trying to make conversation with a man that has no clothes on standing in the shower, at which point dude realized, like, yo, this dude's not just, if you're standing 10 feet away, it's cool because you can't see me naked. But at the moment you walk up to the door and look over it, you can now see me fully exposed. So dude went at him, let him know, man, blah, 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 blah. So all that winds down, all that transpires, guys leave out, go to chow. Tall dude comes out, you know, dressed in his clothes now, got his shower stuff, and heads over to his cell. And a bunch of guys are sitting out in the pod, congregating, talking amongst themselves. Some of the guys, you know, I know I've been in here a while. I come out and I talk with them, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, man, you seen it? Like, you tried, old boy. Nothing ever came of it. They didn't go to fighting. It didn't go to stabbing. He didn't go beat Jingling up. He straightened the situation right then and there. Jingling was one of those predators that he smiled a lot. He tried to be friendly. Always smiling. Always joking. Always laughing. And that was him and his way of getting guys to let that guard down. Be like, man, damn, he's all right. Even though everybody said all this stuff, he did what to somebody? Well, he ain't gonna try me like that, man. We laugh and joke. He's a good guy. He didn't ever mess with that guy. But then if you watch back through my stories, the one with Flip and several other people, Jingling did have his way. Dude did exactly, he should have, I will say that he straightened the situation. He deaded the situation right then and there by making it known what he would do, that you ain't gonna do this, I will do this. But in all reality, he should have tightened Jingling up. He should have come straight out that shower and just started launching punches at Jingling. Anything else is pretty much unacceptable. Everybody else Heard him barking, heard him yelling, heard him screaming and making threats. But you also heard everybody else. Man, had that have been me, I'd have beat Jingling's ass in that pod. I've seen men come out of showers and fight. I've seen men fight in showers. Not having any clothes on does not change anything. At the moment that you feel you've got to go, somebody's trying you, especially in a manner that Jingling had tried, dude, you are obligated to go, to move. Soap and all. Make sure, you got your shower shoes on. A lot of guys will wear boots to the showers or have boots sitting outside the showers. Step in the shower, put their shower shoes on. Step out the shower, put their boots on, because you're vulnerable when you're in the shower. You're slipping them shower shoes. At one point, I had a pair of boots I used to wear to the shower and in the shower. And I'd swap them out. I'd get the guy on property to bring me a new pair of boots every few weeks because the boots started to stink. I'd take them in the cell and tie them up in the bag. Yes, it's nasty, but you'd understand if you've seen some of the violent things that transpire in the shower. Let's get into the next story. From my experience, from the things I've seen, a lot of the sexual predators, the guys that would go at other men, that would try to violate men, hurt men, take things against their will, they would go at straight men. I'm not talking about this guy's trying to violate a gay man, which that happens a lot more than anything else. But a lot of these guys that would go at these straight men had something in common. It was a telltale sign with a lot of these guys. And it was almost like they were stalkers. Several guys I've spoke on in the past, they all had this in common when I think back on these men. They were always super flirtatious with the guards. Would spend large amounts of time at the control booth thinking this lady likes them. And when he wasn't up there talking to her, he'd be sitting off in a distance somewhere, looking all crazy in the eyes, watching a woman in the booth, watching other people to see if they're talking to her. These dudes would get all messed up in the head behind the woman in the booth. These guys were also serial gunners. If you don't know what a serial gunner is, that is a guy that just constantly does that all the time. But he's not doing it in the privacy of his cell with the window blocked off and the door blocked off so nobody can see. No, a lot of these guys that were these predator types that went at other men would do this as a guard was walking by, or they would get a cell that was close to the control booth so they could sit and watch the guard in the control booth. You could look out your door at night and you would see somebody up there at the door, and all you could see was this part of their face, because the slot's only about this big and it's about maybe 18 inches long. You can see their face, you'd see their face moving. So he's up there staring at this grandma in the control booth getting his rocks off. That was a telltale sign. Number one, them being stalkers. Two, the serial gunning. And three, just the overall creepiness and them staring that came along with it. You're not supposed to stare at people in prison. Making eye contact with somebody once is normal. Making eye contact with them twice is going to draw their attention to, all right, me and this guy just made eye contact twice. Maybe we got an issue. At the point that you make eye contact 3-4 times, one of y'all is going to speak up and be like, hey, what's up, man? You know me? Like, do we got problems? Is something we need to handle? Why do you keep looking over me? Why you eyeballing me? What's up? With these dudes that like Treetop, like Jingling, like Dog, these are guys that they would see their prey or someone that would eventually become their prey, and they would stare at them and stare at them. And here it is, you got this young dude that's already scared to death that he's in prison, never been in trouble in his life, and he looks over and he's got this big brolic dude just staring at him. He looks away, looks back over, and dude's still staring at him, almost like dudes do out here in public when they see a pretty female or something. They just keep staring at her. She's like, what's up? You keep looking at me, what's the problem? If you don't straighten it, you don't say something, there's going to be problems. A lot of times in straightening it or saying something, it can lead you into a fight, a physical altercation. But I can promise you would rather go ahead and get that physical altercation out of the way right then and there than that physical altercation take place when you're somewhere else. Another very important thing for anybody that's never been to prison, for someone that may be headed to prison, be careful of your surroundings. And when I say that, I mean isolated areas. Anytime you're in an area of the jail or prison where there's nobody else at and there's no guards around, you want to keep your head on swivel. Because if one of these guys was to approach you in the area, say it be main laundry or the laundry area, the barber shop, the back part of the chow hall where there's nobody, a broom closet. If this guy comes up on you and catches you at the wrong time and you don't know he's there, there's nobody else around to witness what's about to happen. There's nobody around, no guards, nobody that's going to come save the day. It goes without saying, if you're 125, 130 pounds and you got somebody that's 280 pounds that pushes up on you, you better be able to fight really well. You better have a weapon close by, or you better pray to God that there's a guard within screaming distance. Because if not, at the moment that he moves on you, if none of those three things plays in your favor, you're done for. You're done. He's going to do what he wants to do with you, and you're going to have to go the rest of your life dealing with that. It is hot. I got the AC off, so noise ain't loud. I'm trying not to stain this 49ers hat because I will get a sweat ring. But these men are going to do what they want to do to you. And that is the fact of the matter. Tell me how you're going to stop it. What are you going to do? When you can't beat this man physically, you can't beat him in a fight, you can't outstrength him, he's stronger than you, and he grabs a hold of you, and he can put one arm around you and use his other arm to start taking off articles of your clothing. Please tell me what you're going to do. He's going to do what he wants to do. And then you know what? You can come back later on and kill that man. You could put more holes in him than Swiss cheese. Doesn't change the fact of what he did to you. A lot of people, and I've said this in the past, because people just do not think when they say things, oh, he might do it, but he'd have to kill me. He would kill you. He would. Sit right there and bang your head into the floor. Bang it. Bang it. Bang it until your whole entire skull cracks. And then when they find you, they're going to find you with a cracked skull and no pants on. And either way, it happened to you. Watching your surroundings, the places you go, being isolated from others, is going to play in your favor. It's going to limit these things from happening, as well as knowing who you have in the cell with you. You want to get in the cell with somebody that you know who it is. You know that they're not into none of that crazy stuff. They don't like boys. They don't like men. Y'all on the same type of time. You want to get in a cell with somebody that's like-minded, somebody that if it boils down to it, will have your back. What you don't want to do is get in the cell with somebody you don't like, or somebody that don't like you, and then somebody run up in that cell and try you, and that dude be like, shit, let me slide up out of here real quick and let him get what he's got coming. The people you have around you, and people have made comments in the past, so it's messed up. Y'all wouldn't kick it with a gay guy. You wouldn't do this. You wouldn't do that. You can't do that because you've got these guys standing around watching, looking for their prey, and there you go, walking with the gay guys. So he's looking at you as soft. He's looking at you as a potential date. Looking at you like you're his new girlfriend. You may not be gay. You just may be open-minded and don't judge people and don't care what the next man has going on. But you have just now broken the penitentiary rules by hanging out with that man. And because you're hanging out with the gay man, you've got the cheek buster, the booty bandit now watching you because he thinks that, man, he don't act like a girl, but he hangs out. So, yeah. So now you've now drawn his attention because of your surroundings. Like in the beginning I spoke of. And I have seen, don't get it messed up now, I've seen some tough guys get ran down on. I've seen some dudes like, oh, he think he tough, huh? Walk around here with his chest poked out. I'll go over there and do whatever I want to him. I've seen it happen. But there is strength in numbers. Like we talked about in the beginning, there is absolutely 100% strength in numbers. That's why gangs are able to strive, because there are so many in the gang. If the gang consists of 3 people, give me a lock and a sock, I'll eliminate 2 and then fight the 3rd one if need be. When there's 100 people, let me go ahead and put this lock and sock up before they take this from me and beat me to death with it. That guy that stands over there watching for people that's looking to pounce on somebody, if he looks over and sees that you are constantly surrounded by dudes that are known to get down, and when I mean get down, like fight if necessary, or he sees that you're associated with a gang, or that you've got guys around you that will legitimately go to war for you, he's not going to go approach you. He's going to approach little Sammy over there that sits at the table all day reading his Bible. And I'm nothing against religion. It's the facts. He's going to go after him because he's going to see, oh, he hides behind the Bible. Thinks Jesus is going to save him. Every time I look, God ain't in here. he's going to try you. He's going to try that guy that walks the track every day by himself. He's got nobody to talk to. Don't be surprised when you're walking if somebody twice your size that has nothing in common with you walks up beside you and starts trying to talk to you. Hey, where you from? What's your name? You're thinking he's being a nice guy when he's just testing the waters. Being a sex offender is going to put you at the top of the list of prime suspects. So if you're watching this and you got some funny charges, find yourself locked up, oh, you're prime meat, you're ribeye. You are chicken on the bone. Because here's the bottom line, if somebody does something to you, don't nobody care. Especially if everybody knows what your charges are. When people hear that something was done to you, they're going to be like, and? These are the moments when things like that become acceptable. Now, if you didn't have those charges and having everybody be like, man, here dude goes with that weird stuff again. But when he does it to a sex offender, they're like, man, dude had it coming. It's like they're cheering on the booty bandit. Booty bandits come in all sizes, shapes, colors, genders. They exist in women's prisons. They exist in men's prisons. You don't want this to be a part of your world. You don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go to jail. And you definitely don't want to go in there and become somebody's female. And then have to come out here and try to return to society like it never happened. Go through life like it never happened. Or the prison get found out about it and there's an open investigation. All the other inmates know now. All the guards know. Now your family's been notified. Now there's a court case. Now they're doing kits on you to see if there's any samples to be collected. You can avoid all that by not committing crimes and going in there. Understand this. Can't take your gun with you. So I don't care how tough your gun made you out here in the streets. You might have had everybody in the neighborhood scared because you had a pistol, but you couldn't throw these. When you get in there, these are all you really have. You might get your hands on a knife. What happens when you're going up against somebody twice your size who's got a knife that can take one of those to the chest and it don't even get through the muscle? And now he's got the knife and he's got you. You can stop all this by stopping all the nonsense. Monsters do exist. They're in the prison right now. This is happening all across America right now. They're waiting for you to walk through the door. Standing there looking at you. You thinking he's just checking the room out? Nah, he's sizing you up. Checking to see if you're his type. Looking at the little characteristics you have. Damn, boy. Kind of fat. I've heard it. I've seen it. Looking to see if he walks up and says something to you. It's the next part we're going to get into what you're going to do. I've seen men try other men. Little things, walk up. Man, don't even know you put his hand on your shoulder. Hey, what's up, man? He kind of squeeze your shoulder a little bit. You all right? Get your hand doing on my hand off my shoulder, man. Not everybody's going to do that. Some dude's going to be like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, you kind of got your hand on my shoulder. Yeah, that's, yeah, you good. He's trying you. I've seen it go from the hand on the shoulder to a guy walk behind another man and rub the back of his head and around the side of his face and dude be like, come on, man, stop playing with me. To eventually he walks by and pats him on their butt. And that dude's like, hey, man, come on, good game. What is you doing? That ain't even, come on, we ain't even cool like that. 3 times now he's touched you. 3 times now you've made a response. 3 times now you have done nothing about it. Most likely when the 4th time rolls around, you're going to be coming from the shower in your cell, or you're going to be in there by yourself, and everybody else going to be off somewhere, and there's not going to be many people around. He's done tried the waters, tested the waters, likes the waters. Now he's ready to go swimming. And it went from those 3 little subtle touches that you didn't address to him coming up in the cell and, hey, what's up, man? You know, checking you out. I'd like to holler at you for a minute. What you mean, holler at? Whoa. And now you're in a bad situation. Over the course of my life, being locked up through the majority of my life, I saw and heard things that will forever haunt me. Things that I will never, ever be able to shake. There's been times, it wasn't long ago I heard somebody scream. We were at the park and I heard somebody scream. And that scream reminded me of a scream I'd heard in prison once. These are things that will, even being on the outside looking in, not being the victim, but watching other people go through it, they're things that will haunt you for the rest of your life. I could only imagine. I couldn't even begin to put myself in the shoes of somebody that have dealt with it firsthand. Those guys are there 365 days a year. There are no women. A lot of these guys had similar charges that brought them to prison. They worked on violence. They were predators on the streets. But now you've removed women out of the situation, so they shift over to men. Shift over to men. Most times, more times than not, guys don't say anything. They don't go to administration. They don't go to a counselor. They don't contact PREA, which is the Prison Rape Elimination Act. There's a number right above the phone. If you've been a victim or afraid, call this number. Guys usually don't do that because, let's face it, most of the guys in prison have years to do. And at the moment that you let somebody know what happened to you, everywhere you go from now on, people know what happened to you. And well, you've got a lot of guys that think that, well, he's gay now. Somebody's already been up in there. It's my turn. So you coming forward may be what opens the door for others. I read an article earlier on I want to say it was a transgender woman that was sent to a men's prison. Now this was correct me if I'm wrong, a man who had female body parts or had a surgery to be converted to a woman. But the paperwork, birth certificate still stated man, so they sent him off to a men's prison. But boobs, female private parts, birth certificate says man, identifies as woman. You know, they sent that individual to prison, and that person would eventually come out to say they were raped thousands of times, back to back to back to back to back to back to back, day in and day out by men, to the point that they just stopped even fighting anymore. The person just gave in and was just like, I guess it is what it is. All that could have been avoided had no crime ever been committed. That's when you really see who the weirdos are and the sickos are. There's got to be a certain level of predator in someone like that for them to automatically be planning, plotting, and scheming on what they're going to do to another man when they see him. A lot of these guys don't just plan, plot, and scheme. They go through with it. Nothing happens to them, and this man is damaged for the rest of his life. I can only imagine how many people came home from prison and then took their lives behind what they went through in prison. Prison does serve a purpose. I've met a lot of men that need to be there until the day they die, and they should never, ever, ever, not ever, ever be released back into society. But do you want to know the sad part about it is? It's usually the guys that have changed for the better, the good guys that end up staying in there the rest of their lives. And the treetops and the jinglings, and jingling was released. The treetops and the jinglings of the world go on to be released. Thank God treetop will never get out. I know he's old law and he's got parole and all that, so Lord willing, that man will never see the streets again, because I can promise you it's not going to be anything good if he gets free. It's just crazy altogether when I think about it. Man, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. There's so much more I could say. I'd rather y'all be able to sleep at night than have to live through the things I've heard and seen. So real quick, let's recap today's video and the important things you need to know. Number one, if somebody does something that makes you feel uncomfortable, address it. Handle it right then and there. Don't let it escalate. Don't let that person start to feel like it's okay to do those type of things or come at you in that manner. You need to have this understood very, very clear. And for anybody that disagrees, there's something wrong with you. If you are somebody that is not going to stand up for themselves, if you are somebody that is scared, that is incapable of defending themselves, you've got to reach out for help. You've got to talk to somebody, whether it's a family member, a hotline, your counselor, somebody. Because being gangster and saying, oh, I wouldn't do this, oh, I wouldn't do that. See how gangster you are when it happens to you and you've got to go the rest of your life dealing with it. Number two, try to watch the places you go. Isolated places where there may or may not be other people. May be other people there and they may be the wrong people. Always watch the people and surroundings. Number three, listen to what other people tell you. When they tell you this guy does that or that guy does that, heed warning. Most times guys don't just throw bones on stuff like that for no reason. They don't just say things like that for no reason, because if they say that about that man and it's not true and it makes it back to that man, well, that man's going to have a whole lot of problems with a whole lot of people. This one right here is the most important one, and the one I want you to take the most from in today's story. People, stay out of the lockup. Please do not do things that can find you, that could get you locked up. I know it's easier said than done. I know life is not always cherries and strawberries and just peaches and ice cream. I know that. I know life can get hard. And at times we have to do what we have to do in order to survive. I get it. Baby needs new shoes on his feet. I get it. But always look for other ways to do things. And going out here and doing something that you feel is right, knowing that it's wrong, that could be what lands you up as one of these guys in today's story, or in a situation to be one of the guys in these stories. Do what you have to in life, but understand that for every action, there is a equal or greater reaction. Meaning you go out here and rob somebody, you've done something. But there's going to be a consequence to it. Maybe not that time, but eventually you will get caught and you will end up in prison. There is definitely some sickos in this world, some people that should not exist and that should not get out of prison. But if you go out here and you commit crimes, you will in due time run face to face with all these types of guys that I've talked about in today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed today's video. These are not my favorite videos to do. Not a big fan of these type of videos, but they are needed. This is going to help somebody along the way. I want you to understand, if you do find yourself in these situations, you are not to blame. You need to tell someone. When someone victimizes you, you are not to blame. In no way, shape, or form is there anything you can ever do that makes it okay for somebody else to do something to you that you do not want any parts of. I'm out of here as far as this subject goes, man. But anyways, these jails, detention centers, these prisons, these facilities, they're all just crazier worlds inside of a already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. But y'all know how we do. Salute. Halloweenski.